reminder to double check every single nook and cranny in your house. Because in 2019, this couple came home after a week-long vacation to see that there was a stranger living in their home. And he had most likely been living there while they were also in the house.
How?
Also, if you like these kinds of stories, you'll like tonight's episode. Upon arriving home after a week away, Josh Campbell tried the front door of his house, but there was a stranger on the inside pulling it closed.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, watching the video entirely, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every video I drop. I greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
This is one of the most terrifying things that can happen to someone while on vacation. In this viral video, you see 43-year-old George Gillian and his wife Lizette Zambrano being electrocuted in a hot tub at the Sonoran Sea Resort in Mexico. George and Lizette stayed at this resort with other family members when, on the evening of June 11th, they both decided to go in the hot tub when all of a sudden George felt an electric shock. In this interview, Lizette said that the last thing her husband said to her was, "Oh shit," before he was electrocuted over and over again.
Last thing I remember him saying is, "Oh," and it's the same time that I felt the first electric shock. And then it happened over and over and over. I didn't hear him again.
People who saw everything happen tried to help them out, but they couldn't do much because they were also being shocked by the electrical current. Lizette was eventually pulled out of the water with no pulse, but she was given CPR and she did survive. Unfortunately, her husband did not, and now she's suing the resort for $1 million. The lawsuit says that George was being electrocuted and drowned for 10 minutes, all while the people who worked at the resort watched and did not turn off the hot tub. It's alleged that there was faulty wiring in the hot tub which caused the electrical current. And while this is a rare occurrence, it's been said that some indicators of an electrical current inside a pool includes any underwater lights that might not be functioning properly. And it's also been advised not to swim before, during, or after a thunderstorm.
Beings human were never meant to see.
It's a tragic case.
Anton Lavey, founder of Church of Satan.
I won't mention his name, but it was a big leader and founder of a huge satanic organization. And he was on his deathbed. And for a Satanist, at the time of death, it's a great victory for them because death is a huge thing that they celebrate. And he was getting ready to die, pass on his powers and that. And on his deathbed, he must have got some revelation or an angelic appearance or something. And he went into shock and he said, oh my, what have I done?" He said, "There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong." And his whole life had been spent propagating these satanic beliefs.
Aleister Crowley, the man who spoke to demons.
Let's talk about...
What do you guys think? Do you think he saw something at the end? He was on one side, but when he got near close to the end, he completely, I guess, changed or switched his viewpoint. He must have saw something. What do you guys think?
Well, the unsolved case of Mr. Cruel. Mr. Cruel is the name given to this unknown man. He's a serial child predator. He attacked and assaulted 3 little girls in northern Australia. His crimes took place in the 1980s and the 1990s. He's been wanted since 1987, and police describe him as extremely intelligent. He meticulously stalks all of his victims and their families, and he leaves purposeful distractors at each site. There's also no forensic evidence left behind at all from him. He also always wore a mask to protect his identity, and it worked. And those masks you see on the left and right of me are so creepy. Something about the way that the left one looks over here is really messing with me. Apparently his behavior was unhurried and very calm, and he was soft-spoken. At one point during one of his attacks, he took a break to have a meal in the family's house. What? And he threatened the victim and the family if they even moved. So he straight up had these people in their own home while he ate a meal, and then continued his attack after he was done. Dude is an absolute psychopath. Investigators believe that he took videos and pictures of his attack during the incidents, and if he is still alive, this will be one of the key clues in getting him. He still walks free to this day, though. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and happy Halloween.
How the hell they left no forensics behind? Do you know how like impossible that is? And they never caught him. We're gonna have to catch up on that Mr. Cruel case. See if they caught him at the end, man.
This is the devastating case of Kylie Rodney. On August 6, 2022, 16-year-old Kylie went missing at Prosser Family Campground in Truckee, California. Kylie attended a school party with more than 100 kids, but it's alleged that older people also showed up, which made a lot of the teens uncomfortable. Kylie texted her mom right before midnight and told her that she would be home in 45 minutes, but the following morning, Kylie's mother got super worried when Kylie was still not home. One of Kylie's friends said that she was with her the entire evening until she decided to go home at 12:20 a.m. Police searched Prosser Lake for more than 15 hours but were unable to find Kylie's vehicle. But on August 21st, a group of divers who go by the name Adventures with Purpose decided that they would help look for Kylie. It didn't take the group of divers much time to locate Kylie's car, only 14 feet underwater. The car was upside down and Kylie's body was inside. The investigation is still ongoing and the autopsy results have not been released yet. So what do you guys think happened to Kylie? Was this a tragic accident or was there foul play involved?
I'm gonna go with foul play. There was a party stuff going on. The
This
people
guy
showed
is the
up.
real Humpty Dumpty, and his story is much darker than you think. Deep in the eerie town of Puddlebrook, Kentucky, resided Gilbert Eggman, a man plagued by misfortune. His tale took a sinister turn when he joined the construction crew. Perched atop a towering brick wall on his very first day, 3 co-workers, fueled by malevolence, sent the ladder crashing down. Gilbert's pleas for help fell on deaf ears. Desperate to rescue him, the trio resorted to a crane. But destiny had other plans. The crane, guided by an unseen force, struck Gilbert, sending him hurtling to a grim demise. The town whispered of Gilbert's curse. In the following months, darkness consumed Puddlebrook. One by one, the 3 construction workers met their untimely ends, each death shrouded in mystery. Gilbert's curse, it seemed, had unleashed its wrath upon them, becoming an urban legend in the small town. Caution for the...
So Humpty Dumpty was based off this Gilbert's curse story? We're seeing more and more cases, man, like I said, about medias that we've been watching as a kid that's really be based off true stories, but they just, I guess, switch it and turn it into something else. So you lose the, like, original point of the story. Man. Humpty Dumpty, who would have knew? That's like one of the oldest pieces of media.
The photo that you are about to see. This was captured on the Ring doorbell of Jessica Gerald on a 2014 morning around 3 a.m. It is the only shot that we have of the man who broke into her home. For context, this is a small town right outside of Omaha, Nebraska. Like, bad things don't happen here, or so everyone thought. Unprovoked and completely without motive, the man was seen on camera around 3, and then he uses a glass scoring tool where he very quietly makes a hole in the window and then enters through the living room. So the following morning, Jessica Gerald, she doesn't go into work, so her family is contacted. They go to her home, where she is found without her head or her tongue. Media investigation was launched where the footage was eventually recovered. The man seen here had also posed her body without the head sitting up at her kitchen table.
Eerie case, man.
Let's talk about this couple who cheated on the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and thought they got away with it.
You just want $1 million!
This all happened in 2001 when Charles Ingram was a contestant on the show, while his wife Diana and a man named Tequan Whitcock were in the audience helping him cheat the entire time. So how exactly did they notice that Charles was cheating? Well, throughout the entire show, the sound technician noticed a loud coughing coming from the audience at specific times after Charles spoke.
I don't think it's an animal. Megatron. Mega. Yeah. I don't think it's Megatron. I'm sure it's Google.
After reviewing the footage, they noticed that the coffee came specifically from Tequin and Diana whenever Charles mentioned the right answer after the 4 options. They were able to catch a total of 19 coughs, which came from his wife and Tequin, which signaled the correct answers. But not only that, Charles' strategy throughout the game was very odd because he would state the 4 options out loud, and it was clear that he didn't know the answer, but somehow he always got it right. Then what producers found strange was that after Charles got every question right and won £1 million, he was seen arguing with his wife backstage. At the time Charles left the set, they began investigating and they did not hand over the money to him. All 3 of them were found guilty of conspiring to cheat, but till this day they've maintained their innocence, and Tequin still argues that his coughing was because he had allergies and it was all a coincidence. Ultimately, if Charles didn't cheat, he would have only won £1,000 that night.
Man, cheating on the game show, bro. People be taking it to the next level. They really thought they was gonna get away with that. Like, you literally heard that loud ass call. And that just can't be a coincidence. And he got the right answer. Nah. They literally got caught in 4K. That's insane, man. I wonder how many other people try to cheat on some game shows.
This is the disturbing moment. This woman laughed in court after she took this 3-year-old's life in a random attack. On June 3rd, police received numerous phone calls about a stabbing at a grocery store parking lot in Ohio. At around 3 p.m. on this day, 38-year-old Margot Wood was loading groceries into her car while her 3-year-old son Julian sat in his car seat. That's when 32-year-old Bianca Ellis entered the car and began stabbing the little boy. When Margot noticed, she tried to stop the attacker, and as a result she was also wounded. Julian was then rushed to the hospital where he unfortunately passed away. Now what's disturbing was that this was a random attack, and after looking at surveillance footage, the attacker was seen following the mother and the child in and out of the grocery store. Then when Bianca was brought into court, the judge began reading out the indictment, and she was seen smiling and laughing the entire time. And after an assessment was done on Bianca, they're arguing that she has bipolar disorder and had a psychotic break, which explains why she did what she did. And this story only gets crazier. Before this incident, Bianca confessed to another murder in Bakersfield, and she even gave details of what she did with this person's body. She also warned officers that if she wasn't arrested, she was going to murder someone and eat their flesh. But none of this was taken too serious, and she was released from the mental institution, and not long after she committed this heinous crime.
This case
You gotta listen to people have to follow up on their job, man. She's a dangerous individual, and they just let her release from that mental institution. Look what happened. People need to pay more attention, man. That's why in the store I don't like when people follow me around, bro. You always gotta be vigilant.
is a very sensitive topic regarding Pony the orangutan. In Indonesia, Pony was stolen from her mother as a baby and believed to have been sold on the black market, and she was purchased by where she would be shaved every 2 days, wore perfume and makeup. The owner of this business was a woman, and Pony was chained to a bed where men would come in after paying for a private room with her.
What the?
And they did exactly what you're thinking to her. An animal organization heard about Pony and attempted to save her, but were run off by villagers who didn't want Pony to be taken away from them. But in February 2003, 35 police officers showed up and rescued Pony. She was believed to be between the ages of 6 years old and 7, and due to how the law worked at the time, no one was charged or arrested. Pony has since been kept in an enclosure as she wouldn't be able to survive on her own in the wild. But as of recently, Pony is estimated to be either 23 or 24 years old and is in healthy condition. And this is a picture of her from 2018.
This is why you should always be aware of your surroundings. A woman was walking home one night with her child when this happened. Everything's normal until a man comes out from the darkness. He then proceeds to go to the door and start banging on it, seemingly trying to get inside to the mother and her child. Ali Porath, the mother who was seen in this video, later took to social media to explain that this all happened at around 7 p.m. at night when she was returning home from getting groceries. She explains that she had seen that man before, waiting out alone in front of her house, just watching. But ever since this happened, she hasn't seen him. And that's why it's always important to be aware of your surroundings.
Preach. Got
so this photo is the reason you shouldn't put your feet up on the dashboard of a car. In 2007, Grady Keeley had an airbag deploy on her at 120 miles an hour. She was sitting passenger with her feet up on the dash, and when the airbag went off, her knees went right into her skull. Obviously, this led to a brain injury. Her 2 front teeth also fell out, but she lived, thankfully. She lived without a forehead for about 2 years until surgeons fitted a ceramic forehead into her skull. She had near constant headaches, and she developed gallstones because of the medication she was on. After they fitted a ceramic plate into her forehead, they injected fat from her stomach into it so it could look more natural. This is her today, so she looks very normal now. And of course, because she's in good spirit, she says her ceramic forehead is designer because it was made in Italy. She also spent a considerable amount of time educating people on why they shouldn't put their feet up on the dashboard. Because if you do, you could end up like this. And you might not be so lucky. So, if you get anything from this video, stop putting your feet up on the dash. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational and entertainment purposes only.
You guys know how many times I had my feet up on the dash when I was just, riding in the car? I'm never doing that again. No more. That's dead after we saw that clip. That's crazy. It's a miracle she survived, too. You never think something like that would happen. That is, put my foot up on the dash. We ain't doing that no more, seekers. Edit. Call them on like we see it, man. If y'all see it edit, tell me down below. I might miss some too, bro.
This is a good reminder to double check every single nook and cranny in your house. Because in 2019, this couple came home after a week-long vacation to see that there was a stranger living in their home. And he had most likely been living there while they were also in the house.
How?
Also, if you like these kinds of stories, you'll like tonight's episode. Upon arriving home after a week away, Josh Campbell tried the front door of his house, but there was a stranger on the inside pulling it closed. That stranger was 26-year-old Ezekiel Zayas, and yes, this is a video he left on their personal computers. The two were able to call the police and eventually get him out of the house, but that's when they saw all of the terrifying stuff he had been up to in the home. He also left them videos on their computers that included incredibly personal information that they had only shared with each other, meaning that he had been listening to their conversations. But the worst part was the knives. Ezekiel had left notes in the house about surgeries that he wanted to perform on the family, like a hand transplant. And when the couple went into their bedroom, they saw that there were knives and other utensils all around the bed. It seemed like he was preparing to do some sort of operation on them. Frogging stories are absolutely terrifying, and I don't want to give too much away, but you might be spooked by tonight's episode.
I cannot be the only one who hasn't heard about the 10-year-old girl that is facing first-degree intentional homicide charges for stomping on a 6-month-old baby boy's head at a daycare center, y'all. What? Oh my god. Leave a like on this video, follow for more true crime, and check this one out.
A 10-year-old Chippewa Falls girl is facing charges of first-degree intentional homicide in the death of a 6-month-old boy on October 30th.
Injuries sustained by the 6-month boy was not an accident.
This heartbroken father says he can't forgive the 10-year-old girl now accused of stomping on his baby's head.
As opposed to seeing it as a 10-year-old girl, I seen it as the person who killed my son. And she, in my opinion, deserved to be in shackles or handcuffs. She's a criminal.
An imprint of her shoe was found on Jackson's head. Jackson fought for his life for 2 days, but succumbed to his injuries.
Now the girl's mother is sharing personal photos and videos.
What's up, guys? Today's my first YouTube video.
Do you think she's been painted as a monster?
Yes, I do.
Is she?
No, she's not. She is beautiful, intelligent, smart, loves to sing, loves to play.
Today in this video, we're gonna be playing hide and seek.
She's been locked up for 9 months.
Hey, Mama, Daddy's up.
This video
shows her getting a ride from her father during a visit at a detention facility. She's smiling, but as Dad puts her down, you can see shackles around her ankles. The girl's family says she suffers from mental illness, and they tried to get her help, but were turned away.
They denied my daughter because she wasn't 12 years old.
She was trying to kill herself.
She had several invitations, yes.
And you couldn't get her help.
I could not. They sent her home because apparently I had an age limit.
What do you guys think about that story, man? That's just tragic all around. Be getting younger and younger in each of these videos we review together.
This is one of the worst cases in human history. This is the murder of Christine Silan. She was from the Philippines and was a volunteer in church, and she used the church every day from 4 to 6 p.m. On the day of her murder, she went to church as per her schedule, but she didn't come home after that. Her parents then started to worry, and they began searching for her with their neighbors. And what they found is absolutely horrid. They found her body in a farm where half her face was sliced like a piece of pizza, and her face was literally skinned down to her skull. Also, her brain was completely destroyed by acid. The police then started investigating, and they checked the cameras and found out that she was with a guy. The people started protesting about this case, and the case was then given to special officers. They had a lot of pressure on this. A week before this happened, she broke up with her boyfriend, so the police took him into custody. And he was proving that he was at home all day when she was murdered, but officers were completely tired of this case, and they then sentenced him as the murderer. But after a few months, a thief was caught in a store where he confessed that he murdered and raped Christine. He said he started talking to her on Facebook with a fake account,
Catfish,
and was using fake photos of another guy that was pretty good looking. Christine fell for the guy, and she assumed that he was about 20 years old, and they started texting daily. One day, they both decided to meet up at 6 p.m. near the church she went to. But upon arriving, Christine noticed that this was not the guy she was talking to, and he was around 40-ish years old. She then refused to talk to him and tried to go back, but he held her hands extremely forcefully. He then took her far away from town and raped her repeatedly and put iron rods inside her personal organs. He then cut her face in half and then skinned her whole head down to the skull. And to make it even worse, he put acid inside of her head. The autopsy also revealed that her tongue, trachea, esophagus, parts of her neck, and her right ear were missing. The self-proclaimed killer of this case, named Renato Lanis, said that he used barber-type scissors and stabbed her 30 times on different parts of her body and skinned her face. Christine Silan was only 16 years old, and this case is extremely haunting.
Damn.
There's a picture of her body that was found in the field, but Google did a really good job of not showing it and hiding it. So even if you do go looking for the picture, I don't think you're going to find it. This is one of those cases that after you get done reading it, you just feel some sort of uneasiness. I feel so bad for Christine's family, and I can't imagine finding my daughter in this state. May Christine Silan rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. Whew, that was crazy. That was a crazy case at the end, man. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification bells, man. We're dropping these videos daily. So like I said, I've been seeing you guys comments out. Sometimes you're saying subscribe, but you're not getting a notification. So always, guys, make sure you check back the channel. At least come back to the channel one time a day, because I drop one video every single day, bro. We're doing daily uploads over here, so you guys shouldn't miss a day. Guys, gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man. On the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Like I said, I want to thank you guys, the seekers who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. I really appreciate your support. Like I said, you guys have been seeing, you guys kind of want me to switch it up, man. If you guys want me to switch it up, send you guys videos like to my Instagram, Twitter, man, anywhere where I can try to download them, put them in the next video. I would really appreciate that. But that's what we do best. Seek the truth.
deaths in 2022. Just a few weeks ago, a 32-year-old man named Khalil Kimi was swimming at a pool party in Israel when all of a sudden a sinkhole opened up under the water, causing him to be dragged inside and sucked to his death. On January 5th, a personal trainer named Tom Mansfield died after ingesting an amount of pre-workout equivalent to 200 cups of coffee. The father of two reported that his heart started beating extremely fast and he was foaming at the mouth before he died just minutes later. The following day, on January 6th, a 16-year-old boy named Teddy Balkin was playing a JV hockey game when he fell to the ground and collided with another player. His neck was then slit by the boy's hockey skate and he died later in emergency surgery.
Hockey, dangerous sport, bro. Risking your life.
I had to get myself up and out of bed for this because I'd never heard of this case before. Welcome to Creep Time on TikTok with Celestine. These are the 13 unaccounted minutes before Patrice Andres went missing. On April 15th of 2004, Patrice, who's a local salon owner in Georgia, walks into her shop and finishes her last client at exactly 11:37 a.m. Another client then calls the shop at 11:50, to which there's no answer, which is very unlike Patrice. In that 13-minute window, something happens in that salon where Patrice goes missing. The next client comes in to find the shop empty, and police are called to the scene, which is eerily undisturbed. Aside from some missing money in the register, there's nothing that's out of place, there's no sign of a struggle, even her lunch is still sitting there warmed up. But two separate witnesses would come forward to report passing the salon within that time frame. Both witnesses come forward to report seeing a light blue sedan parked out front and two unidentified women standing next to it. One of the women was described as tall with dark hair and the other short with light hair. These eyewitness accounts mark one of the only insights as to what happened in those 13 minutes. After 20 months of searching, her remains are finally found at the bottom of a ravine, but the manner of death is unknown. Initially, her husband is suspected to be involved as maybe a jealous spouse, but a scrutinizing investigation would rule him out. She leaves behind her 15-year-old son at the time, who till this day continues to search for answers as to what really happened to his mom on April 15th. So what are your theories as to those 13 unknown minutes?
It's kind of scary, man, how like that small amount of unaccounted time led to somebody's demise. Make sure you having to be aware of everything, man, even the minute details. Like I said, if it wasn't for those two people, eyewitnesses checking out that pulled up that blue sedan, they wouldn't have had nothing.
Creepy facts that you shouldn't read. Your mind can sense when someone is staring at you even when you're asleep, which explains why you randomly wake up during the night. Spirits are more active at night and mostly exist in air-conditioned rooms. They look and stare at you at night. They read your mind and try to speak and show your future dreams. Follow if you're scared.
Interesting, spooky facts. You guys believe that?
Videos that seem innocent, but actually have a terrifying backstory. This video shows a man playing Dance Dance Revolution while some teens unknowingly record him and make fun of him. 6 months after this video was taken, this man, Adam Lanzo, would shoot his own mother 4 times in the head while she's sleeping, then drive to Sandy Hook Elementary School where he'd murdered 23 people. This video shows magician Tommy Cooper having a heart attack while on live TV. The audience, as well as his assistant, thought it was part of the show, so they laughed along while he died on stage. This video shows a popular CSGO streamer showing off his new McLaren. However, he was banned a week later for hacking, and this caused him to have a mental breakdown. So he purposely crashed his car into a van, killing himself, a mother, and her child. This video shows a band performing minutes before the venue burnt down and killed everyone inside. Even creepier, the band's name was Burn.
Damn, that's a freaking scary coincidence. All those creepy facts, man. It's like these pictures and videos, they have dark backstories you never know until you find out. Can't judge a book by its cover, that's what they say.
A 20-year-old cold case has had a major breakthrough after an eerie twist led to police identifying a teenage girl's remains. Midtown Jane Doe was found mysteriously entombed in cement in a former New York hotspot during construction in 2003. Investigators believe she was fatally strangled, bound with electrical wire, and wrapped in a carpet before being cemented into the building's basement. Now, Midtown Jane Doe has been identified as Patricia Kathleen McGlone, a girl from Brooklyn who was last seen in the late 1960s. DNA from a woman killed in the 9/11 attacks, also named Patricia, helped authorities identify the girl, as the two were related.
This is the devastating case of Kylie Rodney. On August 6, 2022, 16-year-old Kylie went missing at Prosser Family Campground in Truckee, California. Kylie attended a school party with more than 100 kids, but it's alleged that older people also showed up, which made a lot of the teens uncomfortable. Kylie texted her mom right before midnight and told her that she would be home in 45 minutes, but the following morning, Kylie's mother got super worried when Kylie was still not home. One of Kylie's friends said that she was with her the entire evening until she decided to go home at 12:20 a.m. Police searched Prosser Lake for more than 15 hours, but were unable to find Kylie's vehicle. But on August 21st, a group of divers who go by the name Adventures with Purpose decided that they would help look for Kylie. It didn't take the group of divers much time to locate Kylie's car, only 14 feet underwater. The car was upside down and Kylie's body was inside. The investigation is still ongoing and the autopsy results have not been released yet. So what do you guys think happened to Kylie? Was this a tragic accident or was there foul play involved?
Definitely had to be foul play, something. All those people showing up to the party, she got uncomfortable.
Dark things that happen at Disney, part 23. I actually got a lot of messages asking me to cover this case. On December 3rd, Chris Christensen passed away after jumping from a parking structure outside of Disneyland. This is reportedly the area that he jumped from, and that's where he landed. Now, it's a very sad and tragic case. It breaks my heart. So according to the letter that Chris left, him and his wife Marlena got in a really bad fight. He said their marriage was perfect up until that fight. She accused him of being aggressive and physical with her and their kids. Although Chris claims that that's not what happened and those claims were false. As a result, he spent the night in jail and he pretty much lost his job of being school principal. Chris said that he took his own life to escape his partner and these claims that she made up. It's a very touchy case. That's why I didn't really want to address it. But like I said, a lot of people told me to.
That one case, when anything that was always Disney's now in the
Most
news, they always seem to
deaths
be able to
in human
hide it.
history. Yuroko Onaja was in the middle of having sex with his 6th wife when his other wives caught him and became jealous. They forced him to do it with each of them and he stopped breathing before he could get to the 5th wife. A 32-year-old man from Florida, Edward Archibald, died from choking on arthropod body parts in a cockroach eating contest. When 25-year-old Salman Mirza met up with his ex-fiancée at a hotel in India, he realized that he didn't have protection. Salman then proceeded to seal up his pee-pee using a strong glue, causing him to die of organ failure. This past Halloween, a Brazilian man was fishing with his 2 friends when all of a sudden they were attacked by bees. The man attempted to escape by jumping into a nearby lake where he was attacked by piranhas and died. 42-year-old Tony Valz was in a McDonald's drive-thru when he dropped his credit card. He opened his door to retrieve it when his car rolled forward, pinning him between the door and the car, crushing him to death.
Crazy cases, man. You would never think in a million years that stuff like that would happen. Edit.
This is why you should never take walks alone at night. In 2007, a girl was on a late night walk when she looked at the end of the road and saw the silhouette of a man moving around very strangely. It was like he was doing the waltz, but he was moving towards her, so she was sketched out, crossed the road, and went the other way. After a couple minutes, she turned around to see what he was doing, and he was right across the street from her, now staring up into the sky with a huge grin on his face. Now totally creeped out, she turns around and walks about a half block before checking again, and to her horror, he's now crouched down right behind her. But luckily, he stands up, turns around, and kind of hobbles away, and then she notices something. The man had turned around and was now sprinting directly towards her. She runs to safety and now just hopes she never has to see that smiling man again.
The smiling man. It's that factor cap. That's scary.
Okay, these are terrifying facts to keep you up at night. Our first one is locked-in syndrome. And I hear you thinking, what is that? Well, locked-in syndrome is essentially sleep paralysis, but for comas. You could be put into a coma and have complete awareness of what's going on around you, but you can't move any of your limbs and you can't speak. People have described it as a living hell and the most terrible thing anyone can go through. How many of you are cat owners? Well, I hate to do this to you, but your furry best friend is not there for you. If you manage to die before your cat does, your cat will wait till you're dead and then begin to eat your body. And for this last one, I have to give you a warning. Because if you don't like rats, it's going to ruin your day. Go onto Google Images and search up rat game. Just look at it. And when you're done doing that, share this video with one of your friends to ruin their day.
I ain't doing that. Don't search up Rat King, y'all.
I haven't covered many cases that deal with the paranormal on this account, but this is a story that stuck out to me. Welcome to Creep Time on TikTok with Celestine. This story is from a woman named Whitney Reneby. The story takes place in a rural part of Oklahoma, sometime between 2019 or maybe early 2020. One night while her mother is just sitting in the living room just browsing through old photos on her phone, she comes across 3 pictures that startle her. On her camera roll were these 3 photos taken within minutes of each other around 3 in the morning just a few days prior. One is of her husband sleeping, one is of her daughter sleeping, and then one is of herself. She realized that no one else in the house had taken any of these photos, nor did her family have a history of sleepwalking. This is a family that has 5 dogs in the house, all of which tend to bark with strangers, but there was no sound that night. Till this day, she has no idea who took these pictures or how they were able to do so without disturbing the house or the dogs. The photos are a haunting mystery, leaving the family with one question. Who took these pictures?
Who took the pictures, y'all? They snuck in with no detection.
Let's talk about skinwalkers. They are said to be powerful witches and medicine men. They can even change their form to any animal they desire, including humans. But they mainly change into deer, wolves, and coyote. You know, dragon fruit ain't that good. The scary part is they say if you see one, they can steal your face and even your last scream for help. You might think this is like a folklore or a tale. People actually believe these are real. The scary part is there's actual videos of people seeing oddly walking humans screaming help in the middle of nowhere.
Is that a skinwalker, y'all?
See, they say skinwalkers pretend to be humans in distress, and if they're calling out for help, they're just trying to lure you in. Ashley. That's when they take your life and use your voice and your look to catch their next gullible victim. A man's wife wasn't even home, but yet somebody was calling him to come downstairs in his wife's voice.
Is that an edit, y'all? Is that legit? Don't trust it.
If you want me to go out in the middle of the field, at least shapeshift and look like Rihanna or Beyonce. I'm making a mess, but this look good. I'll be there in a minute. 30 seconds flat. Naked. Very naked. Maybe even Lizzo. Let's light this candle.
What the? Skinwalkers, man. Should we check that out? I've seen a couple of videos, man. I haven't deep dived into it yet. Edit. Gotta call it like I see it, man.
This is the Pitbull video, one of the hardest cartel execution videos to watch explained. The video that I'm about to explain is extremely graphic and I don't recommend searching for it.
I won't.
The video begins with a man lying on his back on the ground and 2 men are holding his legs open. He's being restrained. And in total there is 5 perpetrators and 1 victim. And also 2 pit bull dogs. Apparently, this is the victim's punishment for allegedly doing something with a kid or to a kid. The victim is naked, and at the start of the video, the dog has done most of the work. The dog already ripped off the man's privates, and it's just a bloody mess. The dog continues to rip pieces of flesh off of where his privates used to be, and the victim is being held down, and he is also gagged, so he can't scream. But sometimes the gag came loose, and at this point, you could hear the man scream in pain. The victim was even talking, but I couldn't translate it, but that means he was completely conscious during this, which I can't even imagine the pain. As a man, this might be one of the worst videos out there. Funky Town is bad, Ghost Rider is bad, but as a man, I can't imagine anything more painful than a pit bull ripping off your junk while you're still alive. Not many people mention this video with the other disturbing ones, but it's definitely up there. There's not any information about the victim after the video. I don't know if he died, but it's safe to assume he did.
Crazy.
He lost a lot of blood, and if a dog eats your privates, you will most likely get an infection and die from it. All in all, this video is very graphic, very real, and very disturbing. Please do yourself a favor and never go searching for this video, especially if you're a man.
I never search for those video seekers. Do y'all? Me personally, I don't.
Someone recently asked me what the strangest thing I've seen in a police file is, and I think I have an answer. It's this trash can. Let me explain. So this trash can was found in Joan Rish's house in 1961, immediately after she went missing. Her young daughter had gone to a neighbor's house and told the neighbor that mommy is missing and there's red paint all over the kitchen. And when the police got there, they saw that the red all over the kitchen was blood. But there were also a few really weird details like this trash can, so the police had no idea what had happened to Joan. So first and foremost is the fact that this trash can is just in the middle of the kitchen. Normally it was under the sink, but here it is, just in the middle of the kitchen for no reason. And then the content of the trash made no sense. So here is the phone receiver, which has been ripped from the wall. You can see in this photo here that the phone is still on the wall, but just the mouthpiece was ripped off and then moved across the kitchen and neatly placed on the trash. And on the phone was a fingerprint they could never identify. People hypothesized that maybe someone was there, and when Joan went to call for help, they ripped the mouthpiece off. Then there was this beer. So Joan's husband was out of town when this happened, but when he came back, he said that no one in the house drank Miller High Lifes. He didn't drink it, Joan didn't drink it, the trash had been taken out since the last time people were over, but yet there's Miller High Life next to the trash. Joan disappeared that day and was never seen again, and these two little pieces right here are some of the only evidence that someone else may have been in the house. They don't know if she ran away on her own, if she was taken, or what. But the whole story is really wild, and I tell it all tonight on the episode. Also, merch goes live when the episode drops.
These are the world's most haunted dolls. Starting at number 4, Letta the doll, a 200-year-old wooden doll with human hair. She was discovered beneath a house in Australia. Carrie Walton, the caretaker of this doll, witnessed many strange things ever since he took her inside his home.
I don't know.
Marks on the floor, objects mysteriously moving, and strange noises at night. Number 3, Okiku. This doll was purchased by a young man in 1918 in Japan as a gift from his younger sister. Tragically, after a year, the little girl passed away from a severe case of the flu. Sometime later, the family noticed something off about the doll's hair. It was originally short, and it has grown past its shoulder. Until this day, the doll's hair is maintained on a regular basis because it never stopped growing. Number 2, Annabelle. Known for its infamous movie releases and stories with Ed and Lorraine Warren, we do know that this doll is possessed by something that is evil, and whoever held this doll suffered from many bad things. Therefore, the doll is now stored in the Warren Museum, safe and sealed. But Annabelle is not the most haunted doll.
What is it?
Because coming at number 1, Robert. Robert is not an ordinary doll. This thing is sinister. This doll is possessed by a demon, and it speaks to children. In Florida, in the early 1900s, this doll was gifted to a young boy named Robert Eugene, and his parents always used to hear Robert and his doll speak in the bedroom alone, and the family used to hear the voice of the doll respond. Eugene kept his doll till 1974 until he passed away at an old age. No one knew why this old man kept his doll for more than 70 years. After his death, Robert was given to the East Martello Museum. Visitors who have taken his picture without permission claim to have experienced terrible misfortune. If you visit Robert in the museum, you will see that this doll is surrounded by apology letters and also other letters, like permission to look at him. And no one dares to take a picture of Robert.
Robert the doll. I'm gonna have to look that up, man. There were people that would definitely write letters saying how they were sorry, taking picture videos of him without his permission. Some dark energy going on there. Edit.
This guy is the real Humpty Dumpty, and his story is much darker than you think. Deep in the eerie town of Puddlebrook, Kentucky, resided Gilbert Eggman, a man plagued by misfortune. His tale took a sinister turn when he joined the construction crew. Perched atop a towering brick wall on his very first day, 3 co-workers, fueled by malevolence, sent the ladder crashing down. Gilbert's pleas for help fell on deaf ears. Desperate to rescue him, the trio resorted to a crane. But destiny had other plans. The crane, guided by an unseen force, struck Gilbert, sending him hurtling to a grim demise. The town whispered of Gilbert's curse. In the following months, darkness consumed Puddlebrook. One by one, the 3 construction workers met their untimely ends, each death shrouded in mystery. Gilbert's curse, it seemed, had unleashed its wrath upon them, becoming an urban legend in the small town.
You won't believe what this person found on the dark web. The dark web refers to 80% of the internet that is not accessible through normal internet browsers. Here's why you should never go searching on there. This one person was searching around when they stumbled upon a live bid. Now, he didn't actually realize what they were bidding for, but he was watching it. When the bidding ended, it was revealed that it was for a woman tied to a chair. The winning bidder decided what happened to this girl. It ended up being a torture and murder live stream. To this day, it was never revealed who was behind this or who this poor girl was. That's really sad and messed up. But follow for more sad and messed up content, I guess. Also follow me on YouTube, link in bio.
Dark web, man. We've heard stories about that, but
this man has been sentenced to 100 years in prison after doing the unthinkable to his daughter. Tony Valz is a 66-year-old from Helena. On the 10th of July 2022, he was at home with his partner Heather. Tony's 8-year-old daughter Ariana and his 18-year-old son were also at the house at the time. Suddenly, 2 women entered the property who he believed were evicting him. He flew into a violent rage and grabbed a weapon from his bedroom. At this point, he began shooting. He shot Heather and she fell to the floor, and then he shot at his son. His 8-year-old daughter tried to escape and run from the terror, but she was hit with gunfire. She was on the stairs when she was hit by a bullet and she fell back. She tragically died after being rushed to hospital. After his daughter's death, Tony stated, "I'm sorry for all this. I can't undo what I've done. The pain and the misery will last a lifetime, and I'm sorry for all that." Tony was sentenced to serve 100 years in prison.
This is Mr. Swirly, one of the worst pedophiles in world history. And let me tell you, this story is really disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised. So this is Mr. Swirlface himself, Christopher Paul Neal. He was born in Canada in 1975. So Christopher had a pretty unremarkable childhood, but it should be stated here that he wanted to become a Catholic priest. But after the seminary denied him because he wasn't properly qualified, he decided to become a teacher instead. So Christopher eventually moved out of Canada. He moved to South Korea. That's where he was employed as a teacher. And suddenly, all of these images of CP started circulating around the internet. Christopher appeared in over 200 images of CP that he produced himself. And in every photo that he produced, he always put this swirly effect over his face, thinking that it would obscure his identity. Well, eventually German computer experts were able to unswirl the image. They produced this image to the left, and a number of people who knew Christopher contacted Interpol and told them, this is that guy. So once he was identified, Christopher fled to Thailand. That's where he decided he would make his great getaway. And while he was living in Thailand, he employed the services of a young boy who would go out to local internet cafes and bring Christopher other young boys that he would abuse and take photos of. But this didn't last long and obviously didn't work out for Christopher. In the year 2007, towards the end of the year, he was finally arrested by the Thai police. There's nothing that brings me more joy than seeing all these officers around this guy. And one thing that should be noted about Christopher is his unrepentant nature when he's photographed. You'll see what I mean. Pictures like these were taken by the press when he was finally arrested and brought to justice. So in Thailand, Christopher was sentenced to 39 months in prison and he was handed a $1,700 plus fine. But he later admitted to the crime, he was eventually released, and then he returned to Canada. Upon his return to Canada, he was immediately arrested at the Vancouver International Airport. Now, while Christopher was in Canada, CP was found on his phone and laptop. He was sentenced to a number of years in prison. But in March of 2017, Christopher was released from prison, and he now lives in Vancouver somewhere, according to the internet. That's right, Mr. Swirlyface is currently out on the streets. I didn't know this. I think this is an absolute injustice to all the victims of this guy. This is absolutely a horrific story, and I cannot believe he's not serving more time for appearing in over 200 images of CP. It's crazy. But yeah, let me know below. Do you think this guy should still be in prison? I'm also going to be starting a true crime series talking about murders, conspiracies, all of the above on my YouTube channel, The Paranormal Files, so go subscribe if you don't already. But yeah, this story is unbelievable and sickening.
Insane. He's just roaming the streets after all what he did.
I posted a video listing 8 horrifying facts about jinns. Number 2 from that list caught many viewers' attention. Let's have a look at that clip. Number 2, mythical creatures that we see in movies, such as dragons, mermaids, goblins, and trolls, are inspired by supernatural beings.
Really?
The jinns of the sky, the jinns of the sea, the jinns of the mountains, and the jinns of the caves. For hundreds of years, mythical creatures were always inspired by supernatural beings. Let's use mermaids as an example. In urban legends, mermaids are known to be sea creatures that lure sailors to their death by their enchanting voice. They are not as innocent and friendly as how movies make them seem. This is the only real video available online that could maybe prove a being of what seems to be a mermaid.
I got another one over here.
Alright.
What are those?
Whoa. Swimming side by side, something was weird. What the hell? This is all on 4K and this doesn't make national news or something?
What are those trails? Something's swimming fast underneath that water. Something's swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's he at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you?
Let's not forget the importance of oceans and the world of jinns. The most protected area in their whole world is on water. The throne of Iblis is on water. But the main question is, are these shape-shifting jinns half humanoids, half fish? Or do mermaids actually exist? Only God knows the answer.
Hit the nail on the head, man. What do you guys think? Like I said, half humanoid, mermaids, jinns. What do you guys think, man? But what he's saying was true, if you think about it, man. It's like every story, it takes inspiration from something, man. So these dragon, mermaids, and something, they had to originate from somewhere. We just truly don't know the origins behind it. That's why you gotta keep our mind open. YouTube, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys enjoyed this video, could you guys do me a huge favor? Leave a thumbs up in this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that post notification bell, man. Like I said, also, man, comment down below, guys, what you guys want to see next, man. Like I said, I hope you guys been enjoying this new style and bring it to the channel. Talking less, pausing even way less, and just letting these videos play through. That's what you guys want. That's what I'm gonna do, man. And like you guys said, if you guys want me to switch up the videos, man, like I said, DM me the videos on Instagram, Twitter. That's why I said to follow me on there, so we can grow together, man. And I can get these videos out for you guys, man. What you guys want to see. You guys can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, seekers. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every single video. You guys don't know how much you guys are helping out the channel just by doing those 3 simple steps. You guys help pushing us into the algorithm, man. One day we're just going to take off and explode, but right now we're building momentum. Found this video for you guys today, man. A lot of stuff came out. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Let's seek the truth.
Beat the System, Part 4. Firstly, this woman really wanted to bring her bottle of water on a flight. But if you've ever traveled on an airplane, you'll know that you can't carry more than 3.4 ounces of liquid with you. So in 2013, she came up with a genius loophole. She carried a large can of water with her, but the water was frozen. And according to the law, you can't carry water in a liquid state, but you can bring frozen water. Moving on, you can't bring alcohol to a music festival. But in 2017, a man named Alex Diamond came up with a genius idea. A few days before the Electric Zoo Music Festival, he went to the site and buried a water bottle filled with alcohol, pinning the exact location on Google Maps. A few days later, when the festival started, he went to the same spot and dug up the bottle. Finally, this kid was having fun playing games on his computer, until his parents told him to go outside and play. So he took his computer outside and started playing there.
Those 5,000 IQ moves, man. The hell are we sitting watching? Those are definitely some edits, right?
This might be the scariest thing that ever happened to America. We all know that America had a lot of scary things happen to it. But this has to be the scariest thing ever. On August 29th, 1968, every single TV in America shut down. But a demonic whispering was coming from every TV in America. Many people believed that it was the devil trying to get across some message. But nobody really understood it. This lasted for about 25 seconds, then all the TVs came back on. To this day, nobody knows what caused it or why it happened, but everybody believes it was the works of the devil.
What do you guys think? What was that? What was the cause of all those TVs going out and for this playing that audio? Was a message trying to get through? Were they testing something? Because you know how they be testing stuff with the TVs. Some questions, man, that's coming into my mind.
After a massive manhunt, the missing hiker has been found alive after 10 days. And how he survived is crazy. 34-year-old Lucas only planned an afternoon hike in California's oldest state park. So he set out with very few supplies and not even a t-shirt, expecting to return home in a few hours. However, he soon became disorientated as recent wildfires had destroyed familiar landmarks. And since Lucas didn't tell anyone where he was going, the alarm was only raised after he missed Father's Day lunch 5 days after he set out. This sparked a massive manhunt involving nearly 300 people and multiple agencies. While they searched, Lucas wandered the forest, slept on wet leaves, foraged for berries, and drank water he collected from his boots. Without a t-shirt or any supplies to start a fire, he developed hypothermia. He was stalked by a mountain lion, and things got really bad when he got injured after slipping on a wet rock face. Lucas lost over 30 pounds and spent the last 48 hours just lying there screaming for help. On day 10, a drone and a sniffer dog finally found him, and at last he was reunited with his family waiting for him on the forest's edge.
Man, goes to show you, everybody needs to have some natural, I guess, camping ability or skills, because you never know what can happen. Or you be put in that situation. Where's this guy?
Scariest interviews with serial killers. Serial killer John Hughes. John Hughes was convicted of 15 murders and sentenced to life in prison in 2010.
Damn.
When he was interviewed and asked if he would kill again, he said this.
Because you'd kill again.
More than positive. I got different thoughts. Then he was asked if he felt bad for the murders he had committed, and this is what he said.
You don't feel bad about killing anyone?
Not personally, but I've personally done myself, no.
Why?
Wrong place, wrong time. Follow for more.
Very eerie, man. No remorse.
Do you know how weird time is? If you have two twins that are 20 years old and you sent one of them to the star Sirius at 99% the speed of light and then flew back again, the twin who stayed on Earth would be 37 years old and the twin who was traveling would only be 22 years old. Every single person on Earth, including you, is living in the past because our brains don't perceive an event until about 80 milliseconds after it's already happened. It is a very fine line, but that's why some physicists argue that there's no such thing as the present moment. The way that you perceive the passing of time is heavily dependent dependent on the language you use. People in most Western cultures perceive the passing of time as being left to right, because that's how we write, but other cultures perceive it as up to down, east to west, or right to left. Time is actually passing faster for your face than it is for your feet, because the closer you are to the center of the Earth, the slower time moves. A year at the top of Mount Everest is 15 microseconds shorter than it is at sea level.
Wow.
What could this strange creature be? An alien, or perhaps a demon? What we need to keep in mind is that when the body of a fur-bearing animal decays, especially if it's in a moist area or submerged in water, the fur will often fall off before the skin decomposes. And it is for that reason that I am very confident we are looking at nothing more than the corpse of a decomposing monkey.
Creepiest home camera footage. In 2017, a mother in Billings, Montana woke up in the middle of the night to a notification on her phone. Her phone was synced to a baby monitor she had set up in her infant daughter's room. On this night, upon being alerted, she opened the app expecting to see her daughter awake in the crib. But instead she saw this. A man she didn't know is seen crouched down in the room. She saw this and ran to the room to retrieve her daughter and run out the house. She didn't see anyone in the room but wasn't exactly looking. When she called the cops, they arrived and conducted a search of the home but didn't find anything. A very odd detail is that it was found that nothing but the remote to a dog shock collar was stolen from the house. Who this man is and how he got in the house is still unknown.
That's crazy. That's really like one of my worst fears. Like somebody's in your house and you have no idea they were there. Like, that's very creepy and eerie, man. How somebody can be in your house and they can be in that vicinity for so long and you have no idea. That's insane. Where's the sky? Edit. Call it out like you see it. He's known for his edits.
These are things humans should never hear, part 1.
Okay.
What I'm about to show you is a simulation of what happened to Alaskan Flight 261 following a catastrophic loss of pitch control, killing all 88 people on board. This is real audio footage of the plane going down between the pilots and air traffic control. The plane went inverted, meaning it was flying upside down, and just listen to how calm the pilots are.
No survivors? So calm. Damn.
Genius people who beat the system, part 1. This student was only allowed to have a one-page cheat sheet. So they wrote a whole page of notes in blue pen and another page in red pen. They then brought 3D glasses to class, so when they looked through the blue side, they could see the red pen, and when they looked through the red side, they can see the blue pen. This guy's new job required a photo of him in a suit for their new website. But since he doesn't own a suit, he just photoshopped his face over this guy's face, and honestly, it looks pretty real. A girl's dad went to Vegas for 5 days and put a camera in the living room to make sure she didn't have any parties. But the girl wasn't going to let that stop her from partying, so she came up with a pretty creative solution. This parking spot says only green vehicles can park there, but I think the owner of this car took that a bit too literally. This kid's mom told him that food wasn't allowed in the living room and his tablet wasn't allowed in the kitchen, so it's safe to say that he beat the system.
People, man. When they want to beat the system, they'll think of something. What the hell is that?
God. This creature, nay, this nightmare, is something so incredibly rare. It is likely that none of you have ever heard tell of its kind before. It's called a turtle.
What?
Here's some of the greatest conspiracy theories of all time. Part 4. The Grinch has a well-known backstory about hating Christmas. However, eventually in the movie, his heart grows 3 sizes and he loves Christmas once again. But this story may continue longer than we think. It is clear that the Grinch isn't exactly right in the head, but during one of the Grinch's wacky stunts, he could have gotten a head injury. This injury would later take a toll on him as he grew old and caused him to lose his memory. After him and his dog died, they were given a new life in a realm called Halloween Town, where they now lived as Jack Skellington in Zero. He later reunites with his love for Christmas, just like he had when he was alive. Both eventually wear a Santa suit, both deliver presents, and both have a dog companion. It may be possible that how the Grinch stole Christmas and the Nightmare Before Christmas are tied together.
Connected, man? Media's connecting?
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 16. Kangaroos are absolutely terrifying, and if you mess with one, it will likely lure you into the water and attempt to drown you. There's an abandoned Disney park that you aren't allowed to go to, and it was shut down in 1999 because it was infested with free-roaming alligators. The animals were being abused, and an 11-year-old boy died from a flesh-eating bacteria found in the park's waters. In the movie The Wizard of Oz, the lion's costume was made out of a real skinned lion. This is the John Lawson house. No one knows who lives there, but every single day, there are several female mannequins sitting on the front porch wearing a variety of clothing. Their positions and outfits change daily, and many believe this is meant to convey some sort of message. And in 1871, a train crash took place just 200 feet away from the home, killing 22 people. And these mannequins are always pointing toward the crash.
That's some crazy info, especially about those mannequins outside the house. I think somebody commented on, like, they give a reason why that's there, but need to check that out again. But the things we heard about the saying when the skin lined vegan suit, there was a lot of rumors that some weird stuff was going on behind that movie. So, and you know how Hollywood is nowadays. So now imagine back in the days what was going on there.
Inuit tribe crafted tools out of space metal. 10,000 years ago, this meteorite landed in the Arctic in northern Greenland. An entire Inuit community sprang up around it just to make tools from the iron in the meteorite, which resulted in badass stuff like this, a spear made from a narwhal tusk tipped with space metal. They didn't even have enough wood to make fires to actually forge the metal, so they had to cold forge it, just hammering it with giant stones until it was the right shape. The tools were so valuable, they were traded as far away as Norway.
Damn. It kind of sounds like a Wakanda, freaking like origin story. How the metal just fall to earth and they just made weapons out of it, or just forged it. It's actually insane. The parallels between those two freaking
when the bravest bear in history was just a cub, his mother was slain by hunters, and the poor orphan was carried off to a train station in Iran. But when he was rescued by Polish soldiers fleeing the Soviet Union, they bottle-fed him back to health with milk and honey, and on cold nights he even cuddled up next to them in their tents. Imitating the soldiers, he learned how to smoke, drink, and wrestle, and when the men went on patrol, he'd march alongside them on his hind legs. When a spy broke into the Polish camp, he sniffed him out while hiding in the showers, and when the intruder laid eyes on his furry foe, his panic scream alerted every soldier within miles to his presence. But when the Poles boarded British boats bound for the Italian campaign of World War II, they were presented with a strict policy prohibiting pets on their ships. Yet not willing to leave the brown bear behind, they found a loophole and formally enrolled him into the Polish army as a private. During the famous Battle of Monte Cassino, the Germans had fortified a monastery upon a hill and had devastatingly repulsed 3 prior attacks. But carrying crates of ammunition that would normally require 4 strong men, the courageous cub charged up the hill, successfully resupplying the Polish artillery. And even in the face of heavy enemy fire, he never dropped a single crate, allowing Allied forces to capture the stronghold and gaining promotion to corporal for his bravery. After the war ended, the Iron Curtain prevented the Poles from returning home, and so the brave bear was brought to a zoo in Scotland, where he was frequently visited by his fighting friends, who would often bring him treats and jump into his enclosure for a good wrestle. And it's said that for the rest of his life, he would happily stand up and salute whenever he heard Polish. When you're the most ferocious furry fighting force to ever fight for the free world, they don't just call you the bravest bear, they call you Corporal Wojtek.
Could you live on a pillar for decades without coming down? It sounds impossible, but this was actually a way of life that emerged around the 5th century CE in the Eastern Roman Empire. These Christian ascetics were known as stylites. They would eat, sleep, fast, write, all on top of a pillar for years without coming down. They would rely on the locals to give them food. The earliest known stylite was a man named Simeon. He was a Christian ascetic from the 5th century CE near the city of Aleppo in Syria. He wanted to be left alone, so he climbed up a pillar. But he actually became more popular when he climbed up and started living on here, so his plan sort of backfired. He ended up spending around 37 years living on a pillar. Travelers would climb up ladders to reach him just to have a conversation. Certainly an interesting way of life.
How the hell they stayed up there for so long?
So this preacher from Zimbabwe claims he can walk on air.
Okay. Is this an edit?
Well, I'm convinced. Hail Messiah! There's definitely no other explanation for why his feet were off the ground, like people on the side holding him up. That's definitely not what happened. It's not like you can see the shadow of the door closing on his left when you slow down the footage. Just shut up and tell me where to donate my money. I mean, come on, it's not like people use religion to scam people. I mean, yes, the preacher has a nicer house than all of us, but then again, he walks on air and we don't.
Case closed.
Is he scamming like that? And people will believe in it?
Terrifying sounds extinct animals used to admit, and the last one's the worst. If you don't know this extinct mega chicken, you must be living your life under a rock. This is a dodo bird. 3 feet tall, 45 pounds, and a pair of chicken wings that are more useless than a penguin's. It can make an omelet for a family and produce a sound that would cause me to move to Mars. The lizard that got into your bag of tread, the velociraptor. Or should I say Jurassic Myth, because they didn't look like this at all. Hollywood lied to you. At least the film's fuck-up looks more like a Utah raptor. This is actually what a velociraptor looks like. It's basically also just a giant chicken. Moving 25 miles per hour and hunting in packs isn't the scary part. It's the way they sound. The only difference between this next animal and my meat is that it went extinct, the Titanoboa. And if this BGC's length at 50 fuck-no feet isn't impressive enough, how about its 3 feet in girth? This twisty telephone pole could squeeze at 400 psi, crushing any 20-foot crocodile that lived at the time. Damn. And this no-bro makes a sound like no other. The extinct blubberbuzz that used to swallow the megalodon, the Leviathan whale. This living sea monster is a distant cousin of our daily sperm whale.
What?
Except unlike the living load we have today that primarily consumes giant squid, the Leviathan had no predators and ate everything. And the sound alone is enough to terrify me. Congratulations, you made it to the final animal. And I'm sorry you have to hear this, but the T-Rex doesn't actually look this way. Real-life Reptar looks much more terrifying with a haircut like Grandpa. And boy, do I have news for you. Their arms weren't useless. It said that they could have bench pressed up to 400 pounds. And did I mention they can also swim? The sound they made is weird, but the closest relative they have alive today is also weird. It's the chicken. I'm so sorry it had to end this way.
What?
Enjoy.
Okay. Chicken is related to the T-Rex. The more you know.
sorry for being so unprofessional.
Ryan, just see this! Gorgeous! Whoa! Wow! No way!
It's an edit.
What?
Hey, my name is Ajax, and in case you didn't know,
I am the first and only animal made to make music born of rock, star, dust, and mold.
How many of you guys remember this girl? She went absolutely viral in 2020 for making faces in court. But before we get into her story, my name is Ashley, and if you guys like crime, creepy, and unbelievable stories, check out my YouTube channel or my TikTok for more content. So this girl's name is Isabella Guzman, and in 2013, she fatally stabbed her mother over 79 times. The video that went viral was actually from 2013, but somehow it took 7-8 years for it to reach mass audience. So initially, Isabella was quite young when she started exhibiting a lot of behavioral issues. She was living with her mother at the time, but when she was 7 years old, she was sent to live with her father. After a few years went by, her father then sent her to go live with her mother again when she was a teenager. And in August of 2013, the relationship between Isabella and her mother quickly deteriorated. They were fighting quite often, and on August 27th, they had an argument that ended with Isabella spitting in her mother's face. The following morning, Isabella's mother received an email saying, "You will pay." Obviously, she was terrified and didn't know what else to do with her daughter, so she called the police. The police arrived to her home and then talked to Isabella, telling her that if she didn't straighten up, that her mother could legally kick her out of the house. Isabella's mother then called her biological father to come talk to Isabella. He came over to their house and had a long talk with her in the backyard, talking to her about respect. According to him, he thought that they had made a lot of progress, but then a few hours later, everything changed. August 28, 2013, around 9:30 p.m., Isabella's mother, Yeonmi Hoi, arrived home. Told her husband she was going to head upstairs and take a shower. That's when her husband hears these awful screams coming from upstairs. Obviously, he runs upstairs to see what's wrong, and when he gets to the bathroom, he sees Isabella slamming the bathroom door shut, locking herself and her mother in the bathroom. He tried as hard as he could to get that door open, but it was locked. All he heard was screaming and an obvious struggle going on. Then he saw blood seeping through the bottom of the door and called 911. Then, as the door was opening, he heard his wife say the word Jehovah, and then Isabella walked out of the bathroom with a bloody knife. Apparently, Isabella didn't say a single thing, just stared at him and walked away like nothing had happened. Runs into the bathroom to check on his wife when he discovers that she had been brutally stabbed 79 times. Unfortunately, she passed away. By the time police arrived, Isabella had run away from the home, but police quickly found her the following day, hiding in a nearby parking garage. On September 5, 2013, Isabella was brought into court for the first time, and that's where we see the video of her making all these faces. Later find out that Isabella was actually suffering from schizophrenia and had delusions for years. According to her, she didn't remember that she was stabbing her mother. She thought that she was stabbing a woman named Cecilia in order to save the world. The judge accepted her plea of mental insanity and sentenced her to a mental facility. In June 2021, Isabella was given permission to leave the hospital for her therapy sessions. She has expressed remorse for what happened, but also said that her mother was extremely abusive towards her.
Dr. Disrespect was sent to jail this morning. This tweet is going viral for literally exposing him. I don't want to read some of this stuff on TikTok because this video might get taken down. So a former Twitch employee just exposed him for... Oh my gosh. There's no name that was mentioned for the person that he was doing it to, but it has came out that it was Dr. Disrespect. Now, as a lot of people know, Dr. Disrespect has been banned off of Twitch for like a couple years now, and the reason was always unknown. Dr. Disrespect, even on stream, say like, I can't say like why I was banned on Twitch. It's like a whole legal thing right now. Basically, he couldn't leak it because it was all legal, and like, you just couldn't tell all of his audience. The fact that he was hiding something that maybe was this is... That is so disgusting, dude. But he doesn't, like, I know you can't really say that. It doesn't look like a person that would do that. Like, bro is a white, bro has millions of dollars. I don't think he would ever do something like that. That's exactly what the comments say underneath this tweet. Fake news, the information isn't confirmed by Twitch. Honestly, this whole tweet is just speculation. Let me know if y'all think this is true, and what do y'all think about this? Dr. Disrespect was actually talking to a minor. He just confirmed this on Twitter. This wasn't a joke. Everybody thought the news was fake, and that's why he was banned on Twitch, because he was talking to someone underage inappropriately, but no. This is the tweet that he just tweeted. I'll just cut to the juicy part of it. Were there Twitch wizards whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. He was speaking to someone underage, which is fine, right? These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes lean too much in the direction of being inappropriate. I guess Twitch saw that in his DM, and that's why he got banned. Oh, that's insane that he literally admitted this. That's actually crazy. He did say, but nothing more, nothing illegal happened, no pictures, no crimes. But you know, that's good. I mean, it was just Twitch whispers, but like, bro, this is so surprising. Like, he has a kid, he's a fam, multi-millionaire, like 6'6". Like, you would never think a guy like this would ever get in, like, you never think he would get caught up in something like this. Yeah, what do y'all think about this? Apparently, he didn't do anything illegal, but the rumors were true. That's what all this...
That's crazy, man. Dr. Disrespect, you know, is one of the biggest streamers in the world. I don't understand why people in positions like that, they always, it's like they can't control themselves. They always have to do something immoral, man. Man, people was always wondering why he got banned. I still remember he got freaking banned on Twitch or something like that. It was trending, and people kept asking him why. But he could never give an answer. But now, I guess you know why. You wouldn't want something like that to come out. That's basically going to end his career. I don't know how we're going to come out from this. Never in a million years would people think this was the reason why Dr. Disrespect was banned.
Streamers had to say about Dr. Disrespect: explicit messages to a minor. This is the saddest one of all, Tim the Tatman. As you know, Dr. Disrespect and Tim the Tatman went way back. They always played games together. I remember watching Tim the Tatman stream, and he was like all excited to play with Dogfiling once he switched over to YouTube. Now that this came out, he posted this very sad story on Twitter. It was like, if the messages are true, then I just can't see myself playing with them, which makes sense. You can't support this type of behavior. By the way, guys, this isn't a made-up rumor. He did do this. He literally tweeted that the answer is yes. He did send Twitch messages to a individual that was a minor back in 2017, and they did. Some of them weren't inappropriate. It's crazy seeing everybody respond. Jacksepticeye says effing disgusting when he puts like the tweet out. Pokimane just tweets out yuck. That's crazy. Ray says Dr. Disgusting. 40,000 likes. That's insane. Even Nadia responds. Never mind. Who cares about Nadia? My bad. And of course, Nick Merckx responded. I'm not going to put that up on here. Get a lot of extra stuff to say, so I'll go on Twitter and look at that. I don't know, man. The guy's like 6'6", millions of dollars, his family, kids, and he was doing this type of stuff. And even though this was a while ago, this was a couple years ago that he got banned on Twitch, I don't know. What do y'all think about this? This is really sad.
Like I said, never in a million years would you expect someone like Dr. Disrespect for that's the reason why he was banned. And people kind of say it came out like the same situation. Remember when they said he had that cheating scandal with his wife or something like that? But I think that was a separate situation. I don't know if that's connected or not, but damn. I remember I saw that freaking trending out yesterday. Freaking Kai unfollowed him, just like everybody making freaking pictures about it and memes and stuff. I'm just like, it's freaking serious accusation, man. I don't get why people in power, when they had that, it's like when they get the clout and the money and influence, they just can't control themselves. I truly don't get it, Seekers. Hey, you tell me down below, man, what do you guys think about that Dr. Disrespect case, man? Nobody in a million years would have guessed that. That's it, man, for this video for you guys today. If you guys made it with me to the end, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, guys, we're doing these daily uploads. You guys gonna catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down the most scary, creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man. I see you guys in the comments. Thank you guys for liking these videos, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, Seekers. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
Photos before death, part 1. This may seem like an innocent selfie of a kid with his mom. Unfortunately, that's far from the truth. You see, the two were on board Malaysian Airlines Flight 17. Hours after the photo was uploaded to Facebook, the plane would be shot down above Ukrainian airspace, killing everyone on board.
This claustrophobic-inducing photo is of John Edward Jones. In 2009, John was exploring the Nutty Putty cave system when he unfortunately got stuck in an upside-down position. It was pretty much impossible to get him out from that position, so he ended up suffering a very slow death.
Hey, small spaces.
I'm half crazy. For the love of you, it would be a Irish marriage.
Disturbing facts you wish you could unhear. Part 6. Scientists are warning us about an upcoming solar storm that has the potential to shut down the internet for months or even years. If this happens, the global economy will crash almost instantly and millions will lose their jobs. The last time the Yellowstone volcano erupted was 640,000 years ago, and it erupts roughly every 600,000 years. That means that we're 40,000 years overdue for an eruption. And what's worse is that there's nothing we could do to prevent it. Kayla Posey, who you may recognize from this GIF, went to her prom last year and unalived herself. It's estimated that there's around 2,000 active serial killers in the US alone.
Question that has long
crazy,
man, is what do we make of the McGrady tapes? Well, back in like 2001, at a Blockbuster in McGrady, North Carolina, a car drove by in the parking lot and just dropped a tape outside of the building. So employees saw that and they went outside to get the tape and they were like, who would drop a tape off like that? Until they looked at it and they noticed something was wrong. This was the tape that was recovered from the parking lot and it was completely unlabeled. According to the story, they took it to the back room where they were able to play it back, and this was the footage they found. It is a 40-minute video of a person's face looking under what looks like a bathroom stall, and it's completely silent, like straight uncut 40 minutes of this and the cameraman just breathing heavily while they videotape this. They turned the tape over to police, and the strangest part is that a search canine signaled that the tape had traces of human decomp on it. To this day, whoever's behind the McGrady tape is a mystery.
The hell? Like, that's a true freaking mystery, man. And that was around when Blockbuster around. I'm about to say, you didn't guys know, it's very rare now to even see a Blockbuster. So that happened a while ago. I wonder if they eventually cracked the case. I'll have to maybe go down that rabbit hole and see what they found out. Ooh.
It took me 20 years to realize this about Snow White. So we all know the tale of Snow White and the 7 dwarves. But didn't you ever realize something odd about this? So after Snow White bites into the poisonous apple from the witch, she falls into a deep sleep, from which she can supposedly only be awakened by loving kiss. Well, at least we all believed that that was the case. Until now. In this scene, we can see the prince waking up Snow White. But what if I told you Snow White never came back to life? Wait for it, because this is crazy. In the original movie, we are presented with the words, "So beautiful, even in death, the dwarfs could not find it in their hearts to bury her." The prince that supposedly kissed her awake was never actually a prince, but her guardian angel which accompanies her to heaven. I mean, we can see her prince taking her to this castle, which looks very much like heaven. Snow White was never woken up by the kiss. He brought her to heaven because she died. My childhood is ruined.
What do you guys think on that theory, man? I mean, the imagery was lining up, that glowing castle in the clouds. And they said even in death, they couldn't find it in themselves to bury her. So some things are lining up, man. Like I said, these meteors we be watching as a kid, it'd be right there, but we're so young, our minds can't even comprehend the messages behind them. What do you guys think? Is that a true theory? Where's this guy? We know, man. We can spot out the edits now.
Darkest conspiracy theories. The Earth virus theory. This theory states that the Earth is a living organism, and we, you and I, the humans, are the virus. The Earth grows plenty of free food, and every animal seems to balance and coexist on Earth in sort of a circle of life. For instance, bees pollinate crops, moving from one plant to the next, fertilizing each plant. It's beneficial. Even though they're taking pollen, they're still being beneficial. But humans, we seem to not benefit the earth at all. We're more destructive. We clear rainforests, kill the ocean with our plastics, puncture giant holes in the ozone with our chemicals and fuels, and we cause man-made climate disasters. We don't seem to coexist. But before I continue, question time. If aliens were about to destroy the planet, and one came up to you, they chose you, and said, if you show us 2 things on Earth of why we shouldn't destroy this planet and kill you all, what 2 things would you show them to save the Earth? Let me know down below. But anyways, think about the human body. When we're sick, our body creates antibodies to kill off the viruses. That's exactly what the Earth does to us, creating earthquakes, droughts, tsunamis, and other natural disasters. Let's face it, we're destructive in nature. And while a tiny bit of us do try to help the planet, the majority of us selfishly harm it. Maybe we are the virus.
You're not gonna believe what this woman caught on her camera. Now it's scary because was this girl actually being kidnapped? But what's scary is that this is a common thing that criminals will do. You have one person playing the victim, screaming for help. You run out to go help them, and instead, they kidnap you. It's scary because you don't know if she actually needed help. Stay safe out there, folks.
Damn, people are faking getting kidnapped? What the hell is the world coming to,
This
man?
woman was pretending to be a 14-year-old so that way she could sleep with teen boys. Her name is Alyssa Zinger, and in actuality, she's 23 years old, nearly a decade older than what she was claiming to be. In real life, Alyssa would work as a grocery clerk, but when she was on apps such as TikTok or Snapchat, she would pretend to be a 14-year-old girl who was homeschooled. And while she was doing this, she tricked at least 5 boys between 13 and 14 years old into dating her. And with some of these boys, she even went over to their houses and met their families. She even had their families thinking that she was 14. Now, one of these boys who she tricked into dating her actually started dating another girl. And in response to this, Alyssa started sending them revenge porn. These were videos of her sexually assaulting the minor that she was previously dating. And these videos circulated all over Snapchat. The boy told all of this to detectives. Now, aside from what she did, one of the more disturbing things about this case so far is that Alyssa has not accepted any responsibility for what she had done. She's also acting like she doesn't understand why what she did is wrong. On top of that, she's been extremely uncooperative. She actually gave detectives a phone that was not hers when they initially asked her for her phone. She said that her true phone was lost, but nonetheless, investigators have been able to pull sexually explicit photos and videos from her iCloud. Her arraignment hearing is currently scheduled for April 16th of 2024.
We gotta watch these social medias, man.
What the fuck is going on in here? And this isn't like woods I've never been to. Like I've been here before. I've been here a lot. I've been here so much, I've actually been to the hospital getting stitches because of some of the adventures that I've had. That's beside the point. These are all different fucking people. And they're all just...
Whoa.
Florida. They're all different.
Has he said been to that forest like many times, but that he just now seen those posters? Did somebody just post them when he was gone, or he just never paid attention to it before? Been in that area that many times, didn't see. He said 25 posters with different people on it. Sounds like that's he's in the wrong part of the woods. Where's this guy? Edit. We gotta call him out, man. I'll call him out down below, bro, if it's an edit. Because I might miss something
Photos
too.
Before Death, Part 1. This may seem like an innocent selfie of a kid with his mom. Unfortunately, that's far from the truth. You see, the two were on board Malaysian Airlines Flight 17. Hours after the photo was uploaded to Facebook, the plane would be shot down above Ukrainian airspace, killing everyone on board. This claustrophobic-inducing photo is of John Edward Jones. In 2009, John was exploring the Nutty Putty cave system when he unfortunately got stuck in an upside-down position. It was pretty much impossible to get him out from that position, so he ended up suffering a very slow death.
The father threw his son in the rails, but what the bear did was amazing. Young couple Alexian and Natasha tied the knot at 20, stoked for their first kid. But childbirth was a nightmare for Nastia, leading to her unfortunate demise in surgery, leaving behind their baby. Post the loss, Alexian felt nothing but disgust for the newborn, diving headfirst into a dark mental hole with booze as his only escape. With Dad dodging his responsibilities, Granny Natasha Ivanova stepped in to fill the void, trying to pull him out of his pit. But her efforts hit the wall as he kept boozing hard. One day, after a heavy drinking spree, he staggered and left the kid on the rails, crashing next to it, passed out. Fortune had it, a big bear swooped in just in time, saving the kid and dropping him off at Granny's. Seemed like the bear's way of saying thanks for a previous favor when Granny saved a cub. The next morning, the sight of the kid lying safe at the doorstep left Granny stunned, but also immensely relieved. Cops gave Alexian a stern warning. One more slip, and he'd kiss his parental rights goodbye. Staring at his mess and a kid he almost lost, Alexian snapped back to reality, swearing off booze, ready to step up as a responsible dad.
Crazy story, you guys believe that?
Who are you? Huh? What? What's wrong with you?
This video is so disturbing that a number of people have fell ill after watching it. Proceed with caution.
One here smells great. Which one? Smells like Mother's crazy sister Kate. Oh, you think so? Yeah, I do. It smells so good. She couldn't have been that crazy. I don't think so. Oh, you don't think so, huh? No. Well, she put her poodle one time in a microwave oven to eat it. Yeah, to eat it. Oh, no. No, 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 silly. To dry it. But it exploded. And they were both found dead. She must have been out of her head.
Creepy facts about our world you didn't know about. Have you ever been sleeping and you had a nightmare that you've been falling off of a building or out of the sky and you woke up kind of flinching a little bit? This is actually called hypnic jerks, and basically what it is, it's your body thinking you're about to die, so it wakes you up. This might sound insane, but you're literally always 6 minutes away from dying, and every time you take a breath, the clock happens to restart. The ocean is just really a graveyard full of dead bodies and sunken ships, and every time you go visit the beach and take a dip in the water, you're basically swimming in a pool full of dead bodies. People unknowingly swallow about 8 spiders a year. Literally, spiders are crawling inside your mouth and down your esophagus, and you have no idea when or where. Facebook shut down 2 robots named Alice and Bob because they started talking to each other in their own language.
What the hell? You got robots communicating with each other now? You would think that would be national news or something like that, bro. Alice and Bob, what the hell were they talking about that had to be shut down? I'm telling you what, the social media, these things, man, they became getting out of control sometimes. Where's this edit?
Hey, Apple! What?
If you guys have never heard about this case, then consider yourself lucky because this one is a disturbing one. This is a TikTok slideshow that I was tagged in, which shows this very disturbing looking guy with a very strange facial expression. Then shows these 2 girls, and the final slide are burgers. Now this slideshow might not make sense to most people, but it starts with this guy right here, Joe Methany. Joe Methany was a very gross and disturbed individual that lived in Baltimore and served burgers at a roadside barbecue stand. In the 1990s, Joe Methany's girlfriend left him, and this triggered the inner serial killer that was hiding inside of him all along. He claimed that within the 90s, he took the lives of 10 different people, took the meatiest part of them, and then cooked them into his burgers and sold them to unsuspecting consumers at the barbecue stand. This means that without even knowing it, people were getting this very funky tasting meat that they just wrote off as, weird meat, but it was actually people that they were consuming. Joe Methany has since passed away in prison, but through the entire duration of the rest of his life, he refused to apologize for these actions and expressed absolutely zero remorse for what he had done. And after hearing this story, it might make you think twice about getting burgers from random roadside barbecue stands.
Videos that cannot be explained. Pilot records passengers walking off a bridge that isn't connected to a plane.
Where the hell are they going? Eerie.
5 things you didn't know about the killer clown John Wayne Gacy. Some of his victims had been in his basement for so long that their bones had fused together. It took 2 whole years to put together the full skeletons. Some of his 33 victims are still unidentified. It breaks my heart to think that some of their loved ones might think that they ran away or are missing on purpose. Like many serial killers, he suffered a head injury. At 11 years old, he was under a swing set and got hit on the head. It formed a blood clot that wasn't identified until he was 16. Over that 5 years, he suffered blackouts that went away once the blood clot was treated. His mother's underwear kept going missing, and she found out that her young son John had been stealing her underwear and burying it underneath the house. His behavior stopped for a while, but once he turned 15, he started stealing neighborhood girls' underwear off of their clotheslines and burying it underneath the house as well. Given where the majority of his victims were found, it's extremely chilling. He may not have acted alone. In a 1992 interview, he claimed that he had an accomplice. Normally, I'd say this is just a Hail Mary to try to get the blame off him. One of his victims that survived, who was key in getting a conviction for him, his name was Jeff Rignall, but he lived to tell his story. He was trapped in John Wayne Gacy house and suffered unspeakable things. For whatever reason, he was dumped in Lincoln Park. He said that when he was drifting in and out of consciousness, sometimes it sounded like there was somebody else in John Wayne Gacy's house. He told psychologists that during some of the murders, someone else was there to help him, but this was widely believed to be a symptom of schizophrenia. Thanks for watching, and if you like true crime, follow my account.
Made a video not too long ago talking about how humans might have superpowers, but now there may be a little scientific evidence to back this up. A lot of you may already know this, but a quantum theory demonstration revealed that just by observing something, it affects reality. For example, if you try to observe an electron, it actually changes the path of the electron. At first it seems small and meaningless, but after a little more research, you'll find out that positive thoughts actually increase plant growth as well. So this is the second instance where a human consciousness can physically affect something outside of his own body. This actually gets much deeper. There was an experiment done by a man named Masaru Emoto where he exposed water samples to the different words, thoughts, and intentions of different people and then photographed the results. He found that the water samples exposed to the intentions of wisdom, truth, love, and peace produced very beautiful crystals, while the samples exposed to the intentions of evil and sickness produced very strange and ugly looking crystals. Now these things may seem small, but just like how we're able to work out our muscles and upgrade to greater weight, is it crazy to say that we could also work out our mind or consciousness and eventually move greater molecules or photons en mass? Who knows, but leave a like and then let me know what you think in the comments.
Hey man, we all about to get superpowers on here? What the hell? That's actually crazy to think about, man. So like you said, you're working on your muscles, you could get stronger by working out your mind. Who knows, bro? It could take it to the next level. What the hell? I'm definitely going to have to dive deep into that, bro. Humans with superpowers. I want a video on that. You evolving out here?
This pedophile journalist once appeared in BuzzFeed talking about his relationship with children. This is Slade Somer. He's the former editor-in-chief of the news website The Recount. And in late 2023, he was charged with possessing and distributing hundreds of CP images and videos. But Slade went viral in 2018 after BuzzFeed shared some of his tweets and wrote an article about his discussion with fourth graders. Here's a screenshot of the article which BuzzFeed eventually removed, where they said people are touched by this writer's conversation with a bunch of fourth graders. Here's one of Slade's tweets where he's talking about discussing things with children. Here's another one of his tweets And basically, BuzzFeed turned this whole thing into a cute piece about this man having an innocent conversation with children. Little did they know that the man they were talking about was a literal demon who was in possession of and distributing hundreds of CP images and videos. This man was connected to a vast network of other pedophiles. And I think it's disturbing how the subhead of this article reads, "Kids are books filled with blank pages." The full article and all of this guy's tweets about what he said to these kids is just disturbing looking back at it. But according to court documents, when authorities searched Slade's phone, they found disturbing video clips of boys as young as 3 years of age being assaulted and forced to do things by adults. It's also been reported in a bunch of news outlets. I can't get actual factual information on this, but it's been stated many times online that Slade was an anti-Pizzagate guy who was campaigning virtually online and in person, telling people how it's all just BS. I'm not saying any sort of belief about that stuff, but it is an interesting side note in this story that he would go on to later be found guilty of possessing and disseminating CP videos and photos. I actually just produced a documentary about one of America's largest CP ring, where we actively worked to expose it and raise awareness of it. So if you want to watch this, if you want to help me raise awareness, the video is on YouTube now. Just search that name, or you can go to my channel, scroll down, and it's the most recent video I've posted. These discussions are very important to me, and this awareness is important to me to raise. So I'm trying to use my platforms for some sort of good. But yeah, YouTube demonetized my video immediately. So by going on there and watching it, it will show YouTube that it should recommend it. And if we can get a lot of people to watch this, hopefully it'll be recommended so we can expose these creeps for who they really are.
This is the most
disturbing
Brazil cartel execution video explained. The video that I'm about to explain is 6 minutes long, and it might be the most brutal video ever. The video opens up with a brief interrogation of one of the women. In the interrogation, she pledges her allegiance to the cartel, and the video then jump cuts and shows the same woman who at this point is bloody and beaten bad. She begins begging for her life, saying, "You can do whatever you want, just not that," referring to the man pointing the gun at her head. One of the other men then says no more chances, and the man with the gun shoots the poor woman in the head. They then check on her body, and the one man says, "I don't think she's dead," which makes him take out a machete and begin hacking away at her neck. The video then jump cuts again, this time showing the second victim, and this is where the video gets extremely graphic. The men order her to place her hands on a fallen log, which she does, and is then struck in the hand by the machete. They then order her to place her hands back on the log, and they then repeat this process over and over, until the log is completely covered in bloody handprints. She then holds her bloody and mangled hands up to the camera as she tries to hold back tears. The video then jump cuts again, and it shows the same girl sitting in a muddy hole, and the man carrying the machete then takes her hand and strikes her arm numerous times with the machete. He first breaks her bone and then cuts through the flesh, severing her arm. And due to the machete being blunt, it takes several strikes. Surprisingly, the victim doesn't scream, but she rolls around in pain for a few seconds. She then pleads to the killers to leave her alone. The man with the machete then orders her to raise her leg, which she does, and he then hits her in the shin twice, which looks like it breaks the bone. She cries out mercy and says she's about to pass out. The man then orders her to lift her leg again so he could repeat the process. He then says this again, but the victim then says she can't move. And in response, the man with the machete strikes her all over her body, all while she's still pleading with the man. And after several more hits, she says it's good enough, insinuating to kill her and put her out of her misery. After a couple more strikes, the killer breaks the machete, and the video then jump cuts again, and shows the second victim lying on her stomach with the killer pulling her hair to raise her head up. The killer then strikes her in the throat several times with the machete, and instinctively she tries to block the blade with her one remaining hand. The killer continues to hack and slash at the victim's neck as she slips in and out of consciousness, before he finally beheads her. A third victim is shot in the head and beheaded off camera, much like the first victim. The killer then takes all three heads by the hair and holds them up to the camera, and the video then concludes. This video is extremely graphic and terrifying, and whatever you do, please never go seeking this video, because it will definitely scar you for weeks or even forever. This world is completely brutal, and this video is just another example.
When he gets that descriptive, I never look for those videos, man. Never. seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, if I seen you guys how I said, I'm gonna comment how you think, man, how sometimes you guys are subscribed to my channel but you guys not seeing the videos pop up in your feed. I try to at least do one upload once a day, so you guys always make sure to come back and check out my channel at least one time a day, man. You guys will see a new video up. Thank you guys for the support, man. Let's continue to grow. Let's continue to get better with each and every video. Tell me down below, man. I'm open to all on any criticisms, any feedback to make the channel better. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.